Yes, seems to work. I got it.
Got
the creepy
Yeah.
voice. Love that we're starting out with a creepy voice. Thanks for asking, Chris, and thanks for doing this. You get an extra gold star. Okay, but let's start out in the order of the character keeper because we have one. And first one up is, I think, Pavel. Please introduce yourself, pronouns, and how long you've been on Gauntlet, Apocalypse Keys, Dream, if you want.
Hi, I'm Pavel. I use he, him pronouns. I'm from Poland. I don't have experience with Apocalypse Keys, never had a chance to play it before. I'm not sure if it fits, if I'm a good fit for the game, so I'm here to find out about it. Although I'm really excited about the design. It's interesting. And a dream, for some weird reason, I remember that I was home, my home, and there was a light in another room, and I wanted to wake up and go there, but then I realized that I'm in my flat, and the way you get out of the bed is completely different than in my home, and it was like a weird experience. I woke up and I couldn't like what's war, so it was like a very weird experience. I called my mom to ask if everything is okay, so just to be sure. I think that's all. I'm on a Gauntlet for some time, but recently I didn't have much luck in getting into games, so I'm really happy that I got into this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any special expectation where this game might go, or do you want to just wait and see?
I don't. I'm just wait and see.
Okay. Cool. Next one is Verity. I think Barry, that's you.
That's me. So I'm Barry, or Basia for Polish people. People don't know really how to read it when they see it, so I always have problems with my name. And yeah, I'm from Poland. I'm here with my cat, Gremlin, who will probably go in front of me many times as we play. And yeah, I've been on the Gauntlet for not so much. It's like one of my first few games, really, but coincidentally, I played with Sabine one time before. And yeah, what else? I haven't played Apocalypse Keys as well, but I have first read them quite some time already and was excited to check it out. So my big expectation is to really get the chance to explore this interesting game and have some cool character moments. And as for dreams, I don't really have many dreams. I've had way more when I was a child, but now it's very not so much. Recently, I had a dream when that I was driving a motorcycle and I couldn't drive it because I'm very bad at driving, and I fell into a hole. And there were some building people there who were like working on construction, and I think they kidnapped me. So that was the dream. It wasn't so fun, but yeah, then it was over after I got kidnapped. So it could be more like maybe not the kind of fun dream experience and impossible things that could happen in this game. Yeah,
well, dreams can be disorienting. I wasn't sure what that Ferengi wanted from me either. So who's the next? Sonar. I think that's you, Chris.
That's me, yes. I'm Chris, pronouns he, him. Barry, do you mind if I ask what pronouns you use?
yeah, sure. She, her, sorry for that.
No worries. Thanks. I've been playing on the Gauntlet since March. Have not played Apocalypse Keys before. Didn't get to read too much of it. Probably read about half or so of the manual. What I expect from this is, yeah, I expected that it will be like, I'm not totally sure what to expect, so I know that I'm sort of just making this up a little bit, but yeah, I just expect it to be really interesting that we're trying to keep back the apocalypse. I mean, I feel like I know it's so obvious to say that, but it like just feels very unique to me, like very high stakes, very excited to play with the emotions and the relationship between other PCs. And when I was creating the character, I was trying to decide between this and the Found, and the Found felt a little bit, for me, too vague, like because the Found doesn't know anything about their background. So it's really interesting to try to think about this character in the condition they're in. Who were they before this, right? So it's like there was a lot going on like that I was kind of had as unknowns. And so I'll be really curious, and I feel like maybe I'll figure some of that out during this character creation session. Yeah, I don't, just like Barry, I don't really remember any dreams I've had. So I'm trying to, like, I had a dream a couple months ago that I remembered, and I remarked on the fact that I had it. And it was so weird that, speaking of like being a child and having dreams, it was like people from high school that were in that dream. It was the weirdest thing. Like, it's been 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is. And those are the people who showed up. So yeah, for some reason, I stopped dreaming when I got older.
Well, okay. Thank you, Chris. I like that. And I like your background, by the way. That is, since we're recording, for the people who don't know it, this is I think this is the cover of the game, right? Cover picture. So yeah, very nice. Next one up, I think that is Victor the Last. I think that's you, Matthew.
Oh yeah, hi. I'm Matthew. I go by he, him pronouns. I've been on the gauntlet for a while, but I've already lost track of how much time, because under the pandemic, time is a flat circle, all that stuff. I just tell people that, 2019 was last year. So, anyway, yeah, I'm excited about Apocalypse. I don't have specific expectations per se. I think the thing that is really like the brain state that jumps out at me the most inside my head is that I'm just really excited to see this game outside of what I would call a testing environment. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm not sure if anyone addressed the gang here knows yet, but my partner is the creator and designer of Apocalypse Keys, Ray Najati. So I've been living with this game inside my house forever. All the designing, the anxiety, the moods, the watching TV, and them turning to me going, hey, you know what? I should do this and that. And I'm just like, sure. yeah. So that, yeah, like that's the thing. I've been able to play a few games of Apocalypse Keys, in its earliest infancy stages. But now I'm just like, and I think what's also going to be different is I'll be playing it in the context without them present, with everybody. Yeah, so that's going to be exciting. That I find that very exciting. I get to play my partner's game, but without my partner, to see it in the wild. That's the exciting part. Yeah. As per dreams, I'd say the last dream I can really remember was like, I think I visited my sister in New York, which is a very reductive way of describing it, because you know how dreams have a tendency to conflate time and space. So that dream was linked with another part of my dream of, like, say, visiting an old haunt from my 20s, even though it didn't make sense spatially. Yeah, I'm not sure what that dream means at all, but I'm just glad I'm able to remember it, because most of my other dreams, I know I've tried keeping a dream journal before. Like, I'll wake up and I'll take a notebook to jot down the dream so I can remember it. And then when I wake up and I look at it and see, like, all right, what notes, what did I record? It's nonsense. It's like, I'll just write derp, 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 derp. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. I believe I've covered everything. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing that I remember, I thought when I was falling asleep, and then I kind of woke up because it was so weird, is that I realized that a POW was a neighborhood-sized doctor's box that will explode if you dance on it. I have no idea what that means. Other than that, my brain is very weird. Sorry for that aside. And I think we are now finally, last but not least, Jim, take us away.
Hey, I'm Jim Crocker. I generally use he, him pronouns, but if you're using They, them, more generically, that's totally fine with me too. I'm not going to get upset by that. I run and play a whole lot of games on the Gauntlet. Sabine and I have played together a whole bunch, which and I'm really happy that I was able to find time, and Sabine, that you made space for me here. I'm super excited to play this. So I think you and I played Apocalypse World, or rather Apocalypse Keys. Did we play together when someone else was running it? Is my recollection of that correct?
Yes, you were the Found and the Dark Side of the Moon, right?
Yes, yeah. I
Yes,
played
yes.
I played a creepy plant woman that was found as a desiccated seed during Division's off books 1975 moon mission to the dark side of the moon. And so, yeah, and you know,
Leandro ran that.
Yeah, that's right. That was Leandro running that game. So,
Yeah.
and that was like one of the very first playtests of it when Ray kind of put it out into the world. So I played a very early version of it. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I was kind of deeply disappointed. I only got to play a couple of 3 sessions of it, something like that. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm very excited to be involved in this here. So, as far as and I've played a shit ton of Apocalypse World and indie games and stuff, going all the way back to actually playing an Apocalypse World campaign with Meg and Vincent at their house and stuff like this. So it's, you know, because I kind of lived near them when I had my game store and everything. So, you know, a lot of the, you know, kind of well-versed in all this stuff. But so as far as dreams go, the most vivid dreams that I have are when I encounter people who are dead, friends of mine, relatives, pets, things like that. And I have a very vivid and disorienting feeling in the dream of, I thought they were dead. Oh, but clearly they're not. Okay, this is interesting. And I'll interact with them for however long it takes or whatever. And then I wake up and it's deeply disorienting to reframe it as like, no, wait, that's okay. I don't, you know. And I had one of those just last night where I was very upset that my I was, you know, like in a place that was like an amalgam of like my apartment and the house I grew up in as a kid. And I was very upset because my cat had gotten out, my indoor cat, who's not supposed to go outside. And this cat died many years ago, but it was a cat I had for like 20 years. And so I was very upset that my cat had died. So I went to tell my dad, who's been dead for 2 years, how upset I was that my cat had gotten out and how angry I was that he had let the cat out. And so, you know, I'm sure there's like, that's like, you know, many billable hours for a therapist to figure all that out. But that was like literally just last night, that was the dream I had. And those tend to be the ones I remember, is when I encounter those people that I know are gone and they're like vividly present in dreams like that. So there you go. So any of you that are game masters for me, you know, now or in the future, there's something you can hit me with as a hard move. So.
Okay. Thanks for saying that we can hit you with this. I mean, not that I'm planning on that or anything.
As a psychologist, I'm very compelled. That's all.
Yeah. Shoot me a DM, Matthew.
Okay.
It's absolutely not a background contest, but I just wanted to say that the background I'm using right now, that's the old beta cover for Apocalypse Keys from a couple of years ago when it was still like when Evil Hat hadn't looked at it yet.
Right, I remember that one. I think I have various iterations, of that game.
I was thinking about using a picture of my character, kind of, you know, offset, but then I realized, no, it's basically a straight rip from a very prominent media property, which would get an immediate takedown on YouTube if I had that face up there. So I'll just use a generic Apocalypse background.
Thank you. That is very thoughtful. Okay, so we've got this, we've got that. Okay, now we will go over cats, or I will go over cats. I think most of you know what that means, but I will explain it anyway. It means concept, aim, tone, and subject matter. I have no idea what the subject matter is about. I just call it safety. It also starts with an S, and that's what's it mostly about anyway. So, concept of this game is inhuman monsters trying to save a world on the brink of the apocalypse. The emphasis here should be on both inhuman. These monsters are clearly not human. People can see that. People who meet you can see you. This person is something else, something different. People in the world, in the setting, are aware. It is not like they will not just call the army, the cops, and the New York Times all at once, but they are, most of them will not be familiar. This won't be like, oh, okay, so monster people, whatever. That would be a very strange reaction. Yes, sorry, I get distracted by cats. I love that, but I hope you will all bear with the fact that I occasionally will stare at the cat. Anyway, so yes, that's the concept, and these inhuman monsters work for an organization called the Division. This organization is organized by, well, there are a lot of humans in that division. It's unclear if humans were founders or not, but yes, these monsters work for or with Division, at least in the beginning. That's the concept that gives you things where you have to go to and prevent the apocalypse. That is the concept of this game. That you will be willing to do that and not just say, no, go away, you puny human. I go now and go and make popcorn out of New York or something, which some of the characters probably could. Anyway, the aim of this game is to explore the tension between the world and the monsters, and to explore the tension between the monsters and the darkness within these monsters. Because all of these monsters could be a harbinger of the apocalypse, could bring the apocalypse and destroy the world on their very own. But for whatever reason, they have chosen not to do that. And that is the aim of the game, to explore that tension between this fate that will lead them to utter destruction and their own will that clearly does not want to engage with that fate. So yeah, that is the aim of the game, to explore emotion, to explore the fact that they are shunned by humanity, but still want connection. They are apart, but they want to be a part of something. They are not stoic people who just stand on a mountaintop and are fine with it. I mean, they might stand on a mountaintop, but they're probably not quite fine with it. Tone of this game is, it's a rather serious and dramatic game. That should be clear from what I've said so far. There are lighthearted moments, of course, and some humor, because sometimes these characters are so extra and so powerful, it's just ridiculous. But that is not the basic tone. The basic tone is that this is serious, the world can get destroyed, innocent people will get hurt. Yeah. And that leads us into the safety tools. We have, instead of the usual lines and veils that we use on a gauntlet, we have green, yellow, and red. They are on the character keeper, on the safety and dice tab. And that should be red, actually. Okay, that's the first one, and it is underlined in red. So what that means is red means themes, stories, and ideas we will not see at all in this game. This is stuff that just doesn't happen. This is not part of the reality we want to look at or explore or even allude to, right? This is basically what a line is in a game that would use lines and veils, something that we won't have. I see some people have put up stuff in there, but I will explain the others, and then I will give you a bit of time to go through that. Yellow are what themes, stories, and ideas do we want to see less of? I think that would be also stuff that we want, that can happen. Okay, yes, that's part of the world, but we won't put a spotlight on it. Yeah, that could also probably will be consensual sex. I will put that up there because yes, that will happen. Sure, if you want to, it's consensual, fine, have a way at it. But we really don't need a description of it. I mean, I've never seen a game where there was a description of anything like that, but just to be sure. Okay, and then we have green, and that are themes, stories, and ideas that we are excited to explore. That is more like the interested in, but I think that is actually a better way of putting it down, because you can put in free text what you want to explore, the things you want to see that are interesting to you. And if somebody else says, hey, you know what, I really don't like that, I see that we have with bad romance in the green one, but I hate bad romance, can we maybe do something else? Then we can talk about what that means, and then we probably won't do bad romances, because we don't want to do something that one player is uncomfortable with. Okay, so yeah, go over these things and just put in stuff that seems interesting to you or not, or that you don't want to have in the game. We will use later in the game, we will use the X card, of course. So if there's something comes up that you didn't think of, or then you didn't realize was a problem or was unfun for you, you can always say, hey, I want to X card this, or hey, can we not do this, or any variation of, please, I don't feel uncomfortable, I don't feel comfortable with this, this is not fun for me, can we do something else? Everything like that is fine. We might put some of the stuff that it gets X carded on these red or yellow boxes, just so we know in the future and we can refer back on this. Now, X card, you can X card, you don't have to justify why you're using the X card. I might ask you why you are not why, no, I will ask what you are X carding. If you just say, hey, no, please X card, probably need to know at least a little what content you're X carding, but I won't ask you to justify that or explain why. That is not my business. You're not having fun. That is my business. You should have fun. We should all have fun. So I can use the X card too. Yeah, you can also X card your own stuff. You can X card stuff you let slide the first time because the slide wasn't a big thing, because it was okay, it was not great, but yeah, fine. But then it comes up again and again, and you realize, no, this is killing the game for me. And then feel free just to use the X card. Yeah, I think I went over everything. Yeah, you don't have to use X card, of course. Can say stop or no or whatever. You can also make a gesture of an X or type an X in the chat, but I will stare at a lot of different tabs, I have to tell you, and I don't see it. So if somebody sees somebody else making an X with their hands or fingers or typing it in the chat, please feel free to alert me or to call it out yourself, like there's an X in the chat. It's fine. That's we're all here to support each other. And while I'm kind of the person who talks the most, doesn't mean that I am the sole arbiter of X cards and stuff like that. We should all look out for each other. Other safety tools, we'll take breaks. Breaks are fun. And I said this before, but breaks are important safety tools so we can recharge, rehydrate, or dehydrate, what have you, bio stuff. And we will take a break appropriately on the half hour. Are we all on a time zone that is on the same half and full hour slot? Matthew, are you on a time zone where I started on half hour the
I
game?
mean, there are no
Yeah,
half hour time.
2:30.
Okay, there are half hour time zones.
Really?
Yep, in Australia, for example, they have half hour time zones.
Well, I don't think we have half hour time zones because it's just one vertical strip.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, okay. But I know in India, for example, they also have a half hour time zones.
Yeah.
Wow, you learn something every day. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somewhere in Great Britain, they have a place that has a time zone that is 7 minutes shift, but this is in the UK. So
I also love those time zones where like you see it geographically and it's like, this is one time zone, and then it goes like that, and then suddenly goes, eh, eh.
Yep. Yep. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, time zones, it took me a bit to learn how truly arbitrary time zones really are. But yeah, anyway. Okay, so yes, we will take breaks on the half hour. Okay, let me check. What did I forget? Oh yes, I forgot something. I forgot the open door policy. We have the open door policy, so if something comes up, if your cat is over there and threw down some stuff that shouldn't be on the floor, feel free to get up and get that stuff. If the doorbell rings, if you have to take a break because something aches or you have something that needs to be done in the moment, please feel free to turn off your camera or your mic and go and do your thing. It would be nice to let us know with a BRB in the chat. I'll be right back with maybe an estimate of how long this might take. If you can do that, don't sweat it. It's fine. It's all fine. If you need to leave for good, would also be nice to let us know that you're not coming back for this session or for any few. And if you think, well, no, I don't think this game is for me, or there are too many players, or they're all so weird, then maybe don't let us know that. But otherwise, feel free to just you can just open door. You're not stuck here. I won't come to your house and tie you to your chair, so you will be in this game, which would logistically be very hard for me to do anyway. But I won't do it. Even if you live next door, I wouldn't do it. So yeah, that's the open door. It also applies to me. If I have to go, I have to go. Sadly, I have a history of having migraines. So I expect that one of these sessions will fall prey to that. I hope not. I'm not planning on it, but I have to give you that warning. It's only fair to say that it has happened, that I couldn't make a game because my head didn't think I should do anything but lie down and moan a little. But fingers crossed, feeling fine today. So yeah, maybe I'll have one next week, which would get me out of that work thing. Yeah, I'm not planning on doing this. Okay, fine. Did you all have a chance to look at the red, yellow, and green stuff? If you have looked at it, please type OK in the chat so that I know you all have. And once everybody has typed OK, and no pressure, you don't have to type OK now just because everybody else has done it. Take your time, think about it. Okay, wow, you're all very fast. I feel like I've talked a lot. I'm pretty sure that this is wrong. Okay, I'll check how it's written, how it's spelled. Sorry. Okay. What we will do now is we will go over the character keeper and the playbooks. I mean, I don't have to explain to you the playbooks because you've all already chosen playbooks and things in the playbooks, which I think, yeah, shows really good initiative. I love that everybody has actually done some character creation beforehand. Wow, I have seen that on the Gauntlet very rarely, and only if Alan has pushed people to really do that. So yeah, thanks to all of you for being so enthusiastic about the game. I think I want to explain one thing before we start out with anything, and that's the darkness tokens thing, because you will have to track. Oh, there's another cat. It's a white one. Yeah, you will track your darkness tokens yourself. I won't do that for you, because not only I think you all will know when it feels appropriate. You have these triggers that tell you when to do it. Now it says 2 to 4 in the rules, but I've regularly seen people thinking, okay, this feels like a 1 token thing, right? It's a little of that, but not too much, and I don't want. So please feel free. I won't come to your house and throw darkness tokens at you. Yeah. That said, are there any questions about the character keeper? No? Cool. Very nice. So things that the character keeper still needs is we will need to, obviously I will need to ask you a lot of questions because these characters are very evocative. They are very like, oh my gosh, I really want to play that. But it's not always entirely clear what that means or where that comes from. It needs fleshing out, right? I need to have some ideas about why are you with Division? How did you come there? What actually happened? How did you come to be here, who you are? So we will need to flesh that out a little. Then we will create Division together, but that comes later. That's not on your playbook. We will need to do the bonds, the relationship stuff. And you all, I don't know if you all have chosen 2 moves. I think most of you have, but you, like not 2 moves. One, you get your standard move, your starting move. And this is, for the most playbooks, it's only 1, but I think one of them starts with 2. I don't know if that's the Surge, is it? Yeah, okay, that's the Surge, starts with 2, but you get another 1. You get 1 of your playbook moves for free, otherwise you would have to advance, and you get either a rule move or a division move. Now the rule moves are very strong, but they will give you ruin tokens. We're only playing for really, honestly, 5 or 6 sessions. So, I mean, what could go wrong, right? You won't destroy the world. It's not like the darkness whispering in your ear. It just tells you to take a rule move. It's not a big thing. Anyway, you could also take a division move. The division moves are a lot of fun. There are also something that goes into world building, because if you have a division move that has a Fey contact, then we will have to establish what are the Fey like. Division has contacts to them. Interesting, isn't it?
So the
Okay.
division moves are kind of every person can take a different one, or is
Yes.
it like we take them together? Okay.
No, everybody should take a different one. If you want to take a division move, we would need to put all of them in a pool, and everybody yells out what they want, and then we decide who gets what. Yeah, if you want to take a rule move, of course, you will take, I think you need to take one of your own rule moves. Every playbook has specific rule moves, which makes a ton of sense. But yeah.
So it's ruin or division, right?
Yes, it's ruin or division. It's not, you cannot take another playbook move.
Why choose division when there's always ruin, guys?
Because they're so
Yeah.
interesting.
Now,
Come on.
can you, I'm sorry, I know I've read some of
Yeah.
this. Can you remind me though? I'm spacing.
Mhm.
Okay, I see. When you mark your 5th ruin, describe a glimpse. Okay.
Yeah,
So
you
when
will.
you mark all of these ruins, then you become a harbinger of the apocalypse. Is that right?
Yes, you can. Well, that depends. When you mark your 5th ruin, you will take a ruin move. You can take 8 ruin moves, and then you will have to mark the last one, retire your character, become a harbinger of the apocalypse. But if you feel after you've marked 5 ruins and you want to take that advance, I can't stop you. You cannot.
So,
You can.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I am not one of those like, crunchy metagamer type people, but basically, if you get 41 ruin, have fun ending the world. 41. So let's see, with 5 sessions, that means we need to do 8 of these.
Yeah, it's unlikely that happens. But if you get 4, but you can get 4 ruin, and then you can just take the retire character and become a harbinger. You can't take that move. You don't have to fill up the other ones.
Oh, I see.
This is a ruin move. You can just check that after the first 5 ruin. You don't have to. You have to after you take an 8. But then you would. And also, the other characters might try to stop you. Honestly, if you become a harbinger and try to end the world, there are 4 other characters who might say, wait a minute, that's something I wanted to do, you know.
Or if they stop you, then time to play a new playbook. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I mean, that says retire your character. That means that you have to play another character because this one's retired and it's mine now. So yeah, okay. Does that answer your question, Chris? I'm sorry, I went off a tangent here.
No, that's okay. It does. So I'm looking at line, and I could try to find it in the book, but it might just be faster to ask. So line 68, for example, that has 3, and line 69 has 2, so a total of 5. So when those
Yeah.
5 are checked off, then you have to check off line 81, retire a character, right?
No, if you
okay.
check off line 69, if
Yeah.
you check all of these 5 boxes off, then you will have to take a ruin advance. And then you have to check either 73, 74, 75, or 80. And you can, if you really want to, check off the box at 81 and 82, but you don't have to.
Okay, and then if you do a ruin move again, now do you do another
You
one
c-
from 73 to 80?
You know,
You can take as many as you want. So the way that it works is retire as a harbinger is one possible option to take
Mhm.
when
Yeah.
you fill that ruin track. And you can
and-
take that at any time.
And the ruin track clears after you've taken a ruin move.
That's what I was wondering. Okay, so it clears. Okay.
Yes, it clears and you fill it up again, and it will fill up faster the more ruin moves you have.
Oh, okay. Now I get Matthew's 41. Now I get the math.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's at most 41.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You could mark it at 5 or 10 or 15 or 20, how, wherever you want to, if you want to do that earlier.
Well, I'm just gonna say, sure, you could end the world at 6, but why do that when you can burn a whole trail before that happens?
No, yeah,
Yeah.
you can soften everybody up first. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I've been at this conversation before about this very game. I think that was what we talked about when we did the Eurovision thing. Yep. This is okay. So, any other questions? Maybe I should look at you. Okay, I don't see anybody raising a hand or talking while on mute. So I'll assume there are no questions. Amazing. Okay.
I'm just not sure about a lot of the stuff, but I think we'll figure out in play. So
Okay, so it's a bit early for a break, but I think it's a good moment. We can take our first break now. And when we come back, we can then start introducing characters. Okay? That's not okay. Let's take a 10-minute, generous 10-minute break and meet back at 35. And yeah, if you want to look at the division moves again, maybe do that. Or if you don't, because you need something to drink or walk the dog or whatever, then we will figure this out. See you in 10 minutes. Please to Seth. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I forgot about that. We have our recording in progress. Hello again. We are continuing and we are introducing our characters. Jim currently is doing another thing, but he is listening and he will rejoin us presently. Right now we are looking at Seth and Pavel. Would you please introduce us to Seth, sorry, the summoned.
okay. I hope I hit the genre. So Seth, I'm when I chose the name Seth, I'm thinking about the Egyptian deity, not because I think Seth also has a meaning of one of the sons of Adam and Eve, and I'm thinking about the Seth from the Egyptian deity.
Oh, okay.
As for the inspiration, I chose Seth looks really young, like in his 20s, but he has this horribly demonic hand that's all glowing, and it's so far it's like starts over here at the elbow, and the part of the body he always refuses to use because he says it's it leads to dark places using this hand. So he tries to, although he do sometimes holds weapon in it, but never uses the handers and its powers. Set was summoned. Set was summoned, as this is his playbook, the summoned, from the grasp of cosmic horror that will remake us all.
Oh.
I'm yet undecided on who is their parent, but maybe when I buy that move, we will get to define it. I do have some weird ideas.
Do you know if you came willingly? Like, was that an escape for you, or were you torn away?
I think Seth does remember that he was summoned, and he was really kind of happy, kind of unhappy, because he knows that he can either save some place or bring crew into some place. But it's always more fun to be like, corporeal form, using all these cool gadgets, than being in this like weird state of cosmic thing between the planets and floating through the space. It's much more better to be somewhere corporeal and doing stuff. So he really enjoyed this, although he fears himself as well.
But he likes being corporeal. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Don't let my questions bother you. I will ask more.
I'm not really keen set on it, so feel free to discard it. But one of the options was that I had a holy item my adopted parent gave me, and I really thought hard about what could this be, and I thought it would be like the cup of Holy Grail, which Seth doesn't really like treat as super holy. He just drinks beer from it and wine, and yeah, it's just a cup for him. Although, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what will come of it.
Okay. Okay. What did your parents say to you when they gave you this this Holy Grail thing? You must have had a reason, right? And feel free to say, I don't know, I don't have an idea yet. You can always define it and play, but
I think Seth might not really sure why they had it, but it says adopted parents. So I think there is someone in the division that feels like as a parental figure to Seth.
Someone summoned you, right?
Yes, and they gave me this, they gave me the Holy Grail, so that they hope it will keep me straight. And they say this weird face. This time we hope you will keep straight.
Oh,
It's like had this like weird feeling, like didn't I like behave straight like well the last time? It's confusing. And the last item is an empty and tarnished locket. I feel that the locket fills in the other half of the locket, fills in with my current love interests, because someone has this like love theme to it. So I think whenever I'm in love with someone, it fills with the other person. Otherwise, it's just like half empty, and only me in one part. Prophecy, man, that's hard. That was really hard. So I chose I will take every nightmare that haunts humanity and paint a beautiful broken world with their fears. I'm not really sure what it means, but I do remember that usually when they summoned me, there is something. Part of my summoning is someone has to speak some prophecy, and it's this weird stuff about summoning. So I do look forward to find out what's about this prophecy.
Okay. Do you look forward to taking the nightmares that haunt humanity?
I look forward to finding out what the prophecy means, not really look forward to fulfilling it. Because I'm pretty sure I was on this planet before,
Mhm.
but I don't really remember like defending it, because I do use the option that one of my options of darkness is that despair as an immortal. So I do feel that somehow someone is like partially immortal. But I do feel that I was here before, but I don't remember it. So maybe I was
Okay.
then here as the harbinger, and I was stopped. So yeah, I don't look forward. So I look forward to learning more about the prophecy hints, not really about fulfilling it. Some set powers of darkness is the arsenal of weapons from elsewhere. I took some picture. I really love Dante character from Devil May Cry series, so I do adopted some of his fancy toys. And shadow control. We'll see what will come of it.
Oh, you have a lot of weapons. Wow.
Yeah, you know, it's an
I
arsenal of weapons.
I like this. I like the subtle little gun on line 147. That, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
you know, sometimes you need a big gun.
Mhm, mhm.
Mm,
Yep, that is cool. Okay, I'm trying to scroll right now. Okay, fine. I think I might think of more questions down the line, but I think right now I have a bit of an idea. So Seth to me feels like he's pretty new to this existence. Is that kind of correct? He's not very. He's not word worry or anything like that.
he's not what?
Word worry like old and has done all this shit before. It sounds like he doesn't know where this is all going, and he might be curious about that. Am I reading that right?
It's like, you know,
Personality-wise?
having this weird memories of flashback or that we might explore, because one of my darkness demands of me is despair as an immortal. So I'm leaving myself an open
Yeah.
space to then despair as the immortal, that I don't know, not remembering stuff or losing stuff. So I'm leaving this. So I think he's new this time, and he, you know, it's this feeling that you've been here or maybe know some stuff. But yeah, he's definitely new this time here, and he's like eating all this new stuff like Netflix movies. This
Okay.
stuff is fun, you know.
Cool. Nice. Okay.
Regarding the moves, I might change my ruin move for the division move, because I was just reading this, but I'm waiting for everyone else to make a choice, because I do have a cool ruin move, but I was thinking about taking either the celebrity or I don't know, subcontractors move from division, because they sound fun, but I'm not like super keen on them. So I will make this choice when everyone else decides about which division move they want to take. Because I already have a lot of guns, so probably you don't need any other division guns.
Yeah, you have your arsenal yourself. So that's one of your powers of darkness.
Yeah,
So
and
we don't think you need division arsenal as well. It feels a little like overkill.
I have my own toys, like who needs their stuff.
Right.
The cool move I took from the summon is that I can further summon other creatures to destroy something, answer some questions, or reveal the keys. So I'm part of a summoner. We will see what crazy stuff I can summon. I already opened like a mythic creature images and fill my mind with like mythic creatures I can summon. We'll see.
Cool. Nice. That is very cool. Thank you. Let's move on for now, but maybe we'll come back to Verity, the Surge. Mary, will you please introduce us to Verity and give us her pronouns as well?
Yeah. So Verity, she, her. She's the Surge, and essentially as her origin, maybe if I start from there. Most sense. I was born with the powers as a punishment for something unforgivable, but actually I liked the origins so much that were there that I kind of slightly combined them. So my idea is that growing as a child, growing up, Verity was a part of maybe a cult or just people following a certain ideology. Her parents were a part of this. And she was born to people who essentially wanted to steal the power of gods and angels. And so what they did was they murdered an angel.
Oh.
And so they basically tried to steal the powers of maybe not an angel, maybe just an angelic being, but something that they perceived to be an angel. And it seemed to at first it seemed like nothing really happened. They maybe thought they were blessed for some time, but the kind of the act has cursed them, and most importantly cursed the child as an innocent creature that was there, and the piece of this angelic being became a part of Verity. And when she became older, it manifested inside her quite explosively, as the search would imply. And so she began to hear, or maybe even not hear, but feel certain emotions coming from somewhere deep inside, from these shards, not really feeling like a different person, but just feeling something's awakening inside. And eventually this power exploded and killing many of the members of this cult. So kind of for her look, I have this picture of a quite young girl with this light coming out of her eyes. And I think this is one of the defining characteristics. So she looks normal at the first glance. She usually wears sunglasses to hide, so something that hints at the struggle to be human. And sometimes the eyes look normal, but in certain moments there's this horrible blinding light just exploding from them, and also from perhaps other places on her body. There are just cracks with this light coming through, opening.
Nice.
And yeah, so her powers of darkness is angelic fury, and really diving into this kind of biblical angel stuff. So this sounds, the voice that is like so loud and overbearing when you say something, or this light that is beautiful but blinding, and just the feeling of terror that comes when you say, do not be afraid, and also some sort of righteousness, because I feel like from these shards of the being that remained, perhaps this being was good at the first time, and there was a lot of feeling of goodness, of wanting to do justice, of right wrongs, and things like this. But upon this terrible act that was done, lots of it has just, none of it has stayed. So what has stayed and was this feeling of being harmed, being hurt, and of humanity essentially being horrible. So these are the feelings that kind of explode from inside Verity, and the name that she uses was kind of given to her by herself, but also not herself, so maybe by the pieces inside her. So yeah, I was in like Puritan naming traditions, naming after Verity. This is in the case the truth. And the truth is, in this case, really realizing what her family and friends, or the people who she grew up with, have done, and who they really were. So that's this. What else do I have here from the look? I have in the look also an item from someone who died by my power. I don't yet know exactly what this is, but probably from someone in the family and people she grew up with. Collections of holy symbols. Yeah, I think this is something maybe that she's trying to find out exactly who this angelic being was that she has some pieces of inside her. So she's
Oh.
trying to check, is this like a Christian angel? Is this a specific God? So she's trying to check what feels right, essentially. Carrying this stuff with her in her pockets and so on. So maybe more like trying to vibe with them than using them for a specific purpose. And collateral damage. So for collateral damage, I chose the one that sounded the coolest. I'm not yet sure exactly how it will look like in play, but my subconscious rewrites small aspects of reality for a short time.
That-
The
yeah.
powers go overboard. So
That is a very interesting power, considering that this is an angelic being, godlike thingy that has very clear ideas about what humanity should and shouldn't do.
exactly.
Oh yeah, right. I love that.
Yeah,
That can be very creepy.
Yes. What does the darkness demand of you? Which, yeah, the first thing tying directly to this, to destroy everything around me for the slightest trespass. So really this kind of righteousness is there. And the second one is to serve, maybe not, I have to serve the most powerful harbinger of the apocalypse. So maybe I would slightly change it to not the most powerful, but there is this kind of feeling to maybe the urge to serve someone who wants to destroy the ones that have transgressed. So if to serve the most righteous harbinger of the apocalypse,
Oh,
definitely this instinct of the being to serve, to follow some sort of call. If she doesn't have one on her own, then maybe there is someone else who can give it to her. It's like dark desire inside that she doesn't really want to follow, but
so to serve the most righteous harbinger of all times. I love that. You can find a righteous harbinger somewhere.
for my move, I have 2 moves by default, and I have chosen also this one, I am your distraction, about some extra effects when collateral damage is happening. So I can gain some aspects of Harbinger's powers of darkness, and I can have some visions of the past to connect keys, I guess.
Cool.
And
That
so
is very
keep
cool.
to,
Oh, that is very
yes,
cool.
a lot of stuff is there. But essentially when when things get overboard, they get even more overboard. And for the ruin, I think I haven't yet decided 100%, but there's either this division move that is connected to factions, and I just now quickly saw this one faction that is something about like prayers, council of prayers, but I don't know if it makes sense for a small game like this to add such a thing. So I could also do the dark patron ruin move. Directly ties into this certain harbinger that maybe have some sort of relationship with me or try to sway me.
Yeah, that could also be interesting. Just leave it open for now. We'll figure this out. Hey, Verity, other things that I need to know about you. So the cult that raised you, they got destroyed by the first outburst of power, right? Am I reading that right? Okay.
Maybe some of them remained, but mostly.
Okay, so okay, yeah, I like that. I played a Surge myself, and they were very different, but not really. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll leave it at that for now. And we'll go on with, I think the next one up here is Chris, Sonar, the Shade. Please introduce us to Sonar and tell us a little bit about them.
Sure. Again, I'm Chris, he, him. I'm playing Sonar, the Shade, he, him. I just have a question first. Is this supposed to take place in like present day?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so the Shade, the idea of the Shade in general is a special and personal relationship with death. So Sonar was a most advanced mathematician and had run a bunch of analyses to try to figure out what the end of the world was going to look like. And he pretty much had an idea of what was going to happen, whether it was starvation or climate change or an asteroid. He was pretty convinced, and he was running through a lot of this math in his mind, and he was getting to a point where he had some step in it where it was almost an infinite loop. It was very, very strenuous task. And at that point, something happened in his body and he was supposed to die, and death came to him and was so intrigued by what he was going through. And he kept putting it off. He kept saying, just a second, I'm finishing this. And it was this kind of millisecond relationship with death where death was like, I don't have time for this. And that's his understanding. There may have been another thing, but death did not take him as a result of that. And death kind of almost as a joke kept him alive and just thought, this is really interesting. Maybe this person really does know how the world is going to end. This is Sonner's impression of what happened. He may actually be wrong, because he really unconsciously, this is maybe what happened, or maybe this is what happened and he's not aware, because really the truth is he doesn't know why he was spared from death. And he is a vaporous body contained by a suit. When you see him, you first see his suit, his faceless expression on the suit with his blue eyes. You notice a strange smell of books and dark wood, and he talks with a little bit of a quick sing-songy voice, kind of like a stereotypical nerdy character to some degree from Star Trek or something like that. So the origin, I got too close to the truth and died, but death would not take me. And then when he speaks to death, he hears the whistling wind and pouring rain, speaking in broken poetry. His powers are let the dead speak and machines powered by soul magic. So I think he's taking some kind of comfort in the fact that I think he started out as a vapor and really had nowhere to go, and slowly, inches over years managed to possess a suit, and then managed to do the same thing and take pieces of his own soul and put them into little drone type machines.
Ooh, cool. And you can
go ahead.
Can you can speak to the dead, obviously, and you can let them speak, right? So
yes,
you can have a chorus if you want.
Yeah, perhaps that works by them speaking through me. That's totally up to, we can figure that out.
I mean, that is your power of darkness. You can let them speak and yell at people, maybe. Who knows? I'll let you do that if we come to the move that where you're using your power. And does death speak to you occasionally, or just to quote poetry at you, or to...
Oh, that's the sound, and I have to interpret it. Yeah, so it speaks to me in as sort of a riddle, and I read it as the same way as I was reading everything. I was looking at signals in the world, trying to figure out what they meant. Basically, I'm obsessed with knowledge, trying to understand what it all means, but I always reduce it back down to death. And so when I listen to the whistling wind and I listen to broken poetry, I'm trying to read the signals, but I'm pretty reductive in what I'm getting from them.
Okay. Okay, so what does the darkness demand of you?
The darkness, so I'm not happy about this, right? I'm pushing against the darkness.
Yeah.
I really sort of wish the death would take me, because I want to see what's on the other side, and I've been here for a long time at this point. But I know that when the darkness takes me, it wants me to fall in love with the destroyer of worlds. So it wants me to accept something even bigger than I could imagine is what I think it is. Perhaps there's something much more blunt force than I really thought there was that is really going to destroy this world. So I thought I had an understanding. Or perhaps the destroyer of worlds really is not an actual specific entity, but the force of everything happening at once. And then to break the veil between the living and dead. So the darkness, the way that I read that is, just like me, I'm almost a precedent. Like I did not die, and perhaps nobody will ever die, and we will all. So will we be dead? But I have a feeling that's not a good thing when you break the veil between the living and the dead.
Maybe not. Who knows? Can't be that bad. I mean, didn't really hurt you, did it?
No, I think though he is frustrated. He doesn't want the world to end, but he is frustrated that he's still in this position. So though he knows a lot, right? His moves, some of the moves that I could have taken. Oh yeah. So the standard move I took before I talk about the initial one was allow me to offer a theory. I just figured I should try to do something related to keys. And helping others. So when another PC is grasping keys, ask if they desire expertise. If they do, work together to describe how you correct their method of line or reasoning. And on successes, we can change details of the keys. So there is sort of this aspect that he's a know-it-all, that he really has too much information. And then Death Walked here is his starting move. When you seek to reconstruct events or learn something valuable in an area, spend darkness tokens, and you can see what happened here. So I see him as a little bit of a wearied private investigator. Like he really can help shed light on things, but he kind of wishes he's getting to the point where he wishes it would all be over. So at least that's how I'm thinking starting out. And then in terms of his division move, orphanage visit, this is where he's going to be getting a little bit of his energy from, because now he feels a little bit of hope that he can actually visit this orphanage. And he is fascinated to see that there are new potential variables that he didn't account for, because there are these young people, and he's suspicious of, but also hopeful for these children in this orphanage.
Cool. And is everybody okay with what Sonar picking the orphanage move?
Visit?
Here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. We'll go through, there are some questions there, but we'll go through that when you and somebody else visits the orphanage for the first time. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, then let's move on. Victor. Matthew, please introduce us to Victor. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So Victor is the last. I envision him as sort of like a creature or an individual from another dimension. Now, he came to this plane of existence, or this planet, as someone who was going to destroy it, taking on the origin of, I am the last of an army that was sent here to destroy all. And I think what happened was that his people from that dimension saw like the people of Earth as not just a threat, like a something that could evolve and go out of control and endanger them, but also saw their planet as like a prime place to colonize and resettle. And what happened was, when that army decided to visit, or visit their conquer designs on Earth, they were intercepted by other cosmic entities, once greater and more powerful than them, that were like, oh, you wanna invade Earth, you wanna take on that planet. These cosmic entities, we'll make them up later. If not, they were like, that's adorable, and so they, like there's always a bigger fish, basically, right? Like there's always a bigger fish. So they look at these would-be conquerors and like, that's adorable. We're just going to assimilate you into our own. We're just gonna like, destroy you. And that's what happened. Most like a vast majority, or if not virtually all of Victor's people have been taken into that, have either been, I'll leave the fate uncertain for now, but basically they've been destroyed, conquered, assimilated, enslaved. We'll figure that out. One thing is certain though, is that this happened when one of our own, or some of our own, betrayed us when we were on the brink of defeating them.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the tragedy that destroyed my people. Vic-
How's this a tragedy? Because tragedy is usually, that means that something they should have seen that coming, right? Like from a mile away.
I think the way I define it as a tragedy is that the fight between these little people, these little conquistadors, and the giant, invade hostile force, the almost Lovecraftian force. Like it was a lot tighter than they imagined. Like they they actually found the means or the ways to, even the playing field. But some of them were like, no, actually, it would be good to be absorbed by these Lovecraftian beings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
okay. Yeah,
yeah,
that could give them more power, right?
yeah, and actually, yeah, exactly. They were like, you know what? If we betray our people to these Lovecraftian beings, we might get a sweet deal and like, get some plum positions in this force. And of course, they probably didn't, but
Who
that's
knows?
that's what they thought. Yeah.
And what was your role in that? Because you were not absorbed, it did not die, you were still here. How did that happen?
So what happens is that I think um, which is Victor and the rest of his people, uh, fought. Um, they fought. Some of the battle was waged on Earth at a time before humans ruled the sphere,
Mhm.
and when they were defeated, they gave up. You know what I mean? Like, sure, our plan is to conquer this earth. Our plan is to destroy it. But what's the point when now we don't even have a civilization? We don't even have an army anymore. Like we're fighting for nothing, basically.
Mhm.
And so Victor, and I think there's some plot hooks here which imply that the last may not necessarily be the only one of his kind.
The last things, they're the
So
only one of his kind,
yeah,
usually, right? The last things, they're the last. If they
yeah,
are, truly is up for debate, because one of
yeah,
the bonds basically says that they're not, um, but Ash doesn't know that. The last things, they're the last, they're the only remnant of their people remaining.
yes, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'll get to that later when we do explore bonds, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Anything else I have to cover? I think so the name that he's using is Victor because he as human civilization came to being, his name actually means like whatever name he had in a past life meant victorious, and so he
Mhm.
just transliterated it to something that, to a name that closely resembles it. You know,
Okay.
uh, powers of darkness include dimensional phasing and
Mhm.
flight and speed. Since we
Okay.
already established that people are from another dimension, I figured it made sense that dimensional phasing is power.
Mhm. Cool.
Yeah. What does the darkness demand? To destroy all life on Earth.
Of course.
Yeah. There's a part of him that says, like, the not the rational, but I'd say like the behavior that he's chosen is to live among Earth and to just sort of accept the fact that they've lost, that there is no point in trying to uh, you know, wage a war that he does not have any resources or people and no civilization to back it to even like preserve or
Mhm.
expand. But at the same time, he's all like, well, you know what? I could still destroy it anyway. Like, who cares if there's no reason to do it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who cares? Who cares if it doesn't make sense? These people deserve it. You know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this was the
Yeah.
plan after all. And what
Yeah.
what better monument to your people than the
Yeah.
ruins of what destroyed them? Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I think we understand each other, the darkness and you.
Yeah. And the other demand of the darkness is to resurrect my people at the expense of humanity. So if there's I'll interpret that broadly, but basically, like, if there's any if there's a sliver of a chance that um, Victor can um, reestablish his civilization, his people, his culture, he will take it,
But
or
that is what
he will be
that is.
tempted.
We will be tempted because that is what the darkness and I mean the
Yeah,
conceit of the game is that you are actually not really
yeah,
all too wild to do exactly what the darkness demands of you. I mean, it's
yes, I
tempting and
misspoke.
it's interesting. It's tempting and interesting, but if there is no tension between what the darkness demands and what you actually
Mm.
want to do, then I think that falls a little short of where where the game can get really intense.
I'm thinking, like, psychologically speaking, I'm thinking like half cat, half person. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that Victor's felinoid in nature. It's just that, how cats just sometimes do dumb shit, even though they know it's not like it's not good. It's like it's
I have no idea what you're talking about.
yeah, there's just complete chaos. They're like, I don't even,
Oh,
and then when they do it,
almost
they're
like
like,
people.
I don't know why I did that. Why did I do that?
It's almost like people.
Yeah. And for my look, I've chosen eyes that contain a galaxy, an alien body that cannot be disguised, and
Mhm.
a litany of strange questions I ask.
Okay, an alien body that cannot be disguised. So, okay, so people basically look at you and say, "Oh, that's alien." I don't know how or why. No, I mean,
Mm.
they give me at least something is too tall. Do are the joints kind of wrong?
Yeah, I think too tall, and his the the segments on his limbs, both the arms and the legs, there's one too many segments. So
Oh,
when they
nice.
bend as they do the natural hominid walk,
Mhm,
they don't look they don't look
mhm.
like normal. Yeah.
Okay, they walk like a little odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Even
That
even
is.
yeah, even any attempt to mask it would be weird because it's still three
Mhm,
joints.
mhm. Yeah.
One, two, three, no, four joints. Even I
Okay.
don't know how many
A
joints.
question.
Mhm.
I have a question about this, like, what darkness demands, because I see that my summoned ones are like the weakest of all. Like, I have to despair as immortal or push away those I need the most. I mean, I can do this stuff, but then Victor has destroy all life on Earth. I mean, that's basically okay. We end the game. There is nobody left. Like, what's the scale of those stuff? Are we like supposed to be doing the thing that darkness demands, or are we just supposed to
Oh no, the
ponder
dark.
about it? Like these things are on the two different ends of the scale.
Yes, that is. I think that's intentional that there is a disparity here, but what the darkness demands is always something you as the person don't want.
Yeah,
Not
and
really, but you are tempted to do it. You are tempted to despair as an immortal. You don't really want to. You have to fight
yeah,
that. And there will be situations when that comes into play, and that is easier actually to trigger than destroy all life on Earth. But it always comes down to this tension between what the darkness demands and what you actually want. And if you
yeah,
give into the darkness, other stuff will come from it. Because if you despair as an immortal, maybe you want to go back to where you came from to be unsummoned. But how that could you could easily come, or the darkness within you could easily come to the conclusion that the best way to do that would be just to help Victor here destroy Earth.
yeah.
Because
And my
then you would surely be unsummoned, and that would be you despairing as an immortal because corporeal existence for you would be gone then, right?
yeah,
Does that make
my
sense?
yeah.
Not sure I get it. I will have to like see it in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pavel, I want to say, in my experience as someone who played the summoned in a previous version of this book, like I find that the summoned is very like potent and direct, and I think that's balanced by the fact that um, he needs these emotional anchors to keep him sane, and so the darkness is about rejecting those emotional anchors. But that was a previous version of playbook. We'll see what happens later. But that's my
Mhm.
understanding of how I ended up playing the summon. Like,
Mhm. Thank you. That is that helpful, David?
As I said, I'll have to go and I'll have to see how it comes into play.
Mhm.
Definitely
Okay.
pushing to having a more darkness than needed, and then seeing what will happen.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Let me. Yeah, I can check here. Okay. Someone took the phone. We're just coming up to that. Jim, would you please introduce us to our fallen friend? They're just at the end of the character keeper. That's all.
Yes, I am the Fallen. I am known to mortals as Loki or Loki. I don't really care. I like as long as I know who you're, as long as I know you're addressing me, you can use whatever form of address that you like. I use they them pronouns to the extent that pronouns apply to me at all. And I'm the Fallen. My name is a name that God gave me with love. That is the name that my father bestowed upon me when we kind of coalesced into existence, and he started naming things. That was the name that I was given, and that that mortals just knew to call me because that was the name that he gave me. Mortals did not make up that name for me. They knew that that's how what I was supposed to be called. And my look is a brand of a demon burned into my skin and evidence of the god I once was. I'm like 7 feet tall. My skin is pale blue. I have glowing blue eyes. My body temperature is somewhere around 50 degrees. And, when I breathe, like it comes out as mist.
That's Fahrenheit, right?
Yes, yeah. Sorry,
okay.
50
Okay.
degrees Fahrenheit. Yes, sorry. So that would be somewhere
10, I think
around
10 Celsius.
10 degrees Celsius, something like that.
I think
10,
something
10,
like that.
10
Yeah.
degrees centigrade. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like corpse temperature, right? It's like the temperature of someone that's been dead for a couple of hours. And
Sort of like you.
yeah, like if you make out with me, you're gonna come back, your lips are gonna be blue, when you come back. So like in my back, I have a very elaborate brand that was cut and burned into my skin. That is the thing that keeps me from getting back to where the gods live. It's essentially like a lock that's been carved into my body, that is like, it looks like some kind of like crazy thing that's halfway between like a Norse, some kind of complicated Norse rune and something that you'd see in like a Jack Kirby comic, right? So and that's just carved right into my skin. And like whatever form I take, because I can shapeshift, that brand never goes away. It is always on me somewhere. So if I change into a horse, it's on my ass, like where a horse's brand would be, right? And that's kind of my tell when I'm shapeshifted, right? Is that that's on me at all times. Let's see. I was my origin. The origin I took was a symbol of how something about how far I have fallen, truly fallen, and what I've lost. I was disowned and banished to subvert a prophecy, because I have a role in the cycle that, this kind of endless cycle of the gods of rising, falling, hubris. They get it into their heads that they're going to be there forever, and then something happens, and I'm an integral part of that. And so they thought that if they banished me to a place where I could never reach them again, they could short circuit that cycle. And that by basically kicking me out of it, they would never have to worry. And so they are united in their desire to make sure I never get back there.
Mhm.
The gods that taught me are those I betrayed seek to destroy me once and for all. They seek to eliminate me and start a new cycle. I think there's a lot of debate about what would happen if they just found a way to essentially destroy me. And not just kill me, because like that triggers the cycle, but to somehow, kind of like remove me from reality, like retroactively make it so that I had never existed and completely change their story in a way that they've never been able to do before. And so I think they're all kind of actively looking for a way to do that.
Okay, so these are the same gods who banished you. They're the same that want to destroy you. Just they kept you away, but if you hadn't been there at all, that would be even further away, and that would be better.
Yeah, because like kicking me out, as far as they're concerned, is a temporary solution, right?
Yeah,
As long as
okay,
I'm around,
okay.
I might be able to get back.
Okay,
So,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice. So my powers of darkness are Fey Glamour. And I've written that up as I can cloak myself and others as well as the surroundings and illusion with a particular interest in making decayed or sick things look appealing and healthy.
Oh, that's clever. Yes.
And the other thing I have is the many forms of mythic animals. So I can shift into all kinds of different shapes, like huge weird bears and eight-legged horses and, like wolves that can, like swat away cars and stuff like that. So, just like big scary kind of, visions of like mythic animals, just and not just from Norse mythology, although that's a particular, for some reason that I just find it particularly appealing. But I can adopt all kinds of, if I wanted to be a basilisk or a chimera or something like that, I certainly could do that.
Okay. Yes, okay. Cool. Okay, and the darkness wants you to do what now?
It wants me to storm heaven for what should seem like very obvious reasons. And it wants me to make my fellow monsters my worshipers.
Of course it was. I mean, come on, look at the strapping person over there who's also in the cycle. Isn't that interesting?
Yes. No. And I need followers. I don't have a, like I'm not part of the pantheon anymore or whatever they want to call themselves. So, I need to, if I'm going to be, to have the power to do this and be worshiped as is my right and my calling, then I have to bootstrap this. I have to, I got to start a grassroots movement to and what better place than to start
again remind you that what the darkness demands of you is not something you actually want to do.
Oh no, these people are my friends. It'd be terrible.
Okay,
they trust me.
Oh no,
it would be an egregious violation of their trust to then get them to turn around and get them to try and worship me. I completely agree with that.
Okay. Okay. So have you all thought about ruin or we'll come back to a lot of that during play, but have you all thought about division and or ruin moves? So I think Chris has already chosen. So, Chris, can you rename yourself? Because I remember Sauron, something like that. I think it's not Sauron. That's another guy. Yeah. So I see a lot of nodding. So Pavel, have you decided on a move?
I want to ask if anyone else is interested in Monster Celebrity. Then I think I will go with Monster Celebrity as ruin moves.
Oh, nice.
I'll get from my ruin, although they are fun.
Okay.
But I also have other question, maybe very simple, but like I said, I never seen the book. So what are actually the keys, the doors, and the harbingers?
Oh, the the structure of the game is basically a little bit like Red Bullet Bay. You get a mystery. You go out and try to solve that mystery. You do that by gathering clues, which in this game are called keys. Meanwhile, this mystery always is kind of something that a harbinger of the apocalypse is trying to do some nefarious thing, trying to open a door of doom to end the world in some way or shape, or change the world in some way or shape that is not particularly conducive to its further existence. And you don't want that for various reasons. And that is, if you have enough keys, you can then make the whole theorize. It's called, what is it called in this game? Has a different name. It's in the basic moves. I'm sorry, I should know this, but I don't know it by heart. Know where to find it.
Unlocking Doom's Door?
Yeah, unlocking Doom's Door. Exactly. That is when you have enough keys, they can try to unlock Doom's Door. And if you're right and your theory holds that you've made up, you get these keys, they're a bit vague, and you can tie them to the various facets of the mystery, and then say, okay, this is what's actually going on. And if you're right, then you're right, and then you can go wherever the harbinger tries to do their nefarious thingy and stop them.
Okay. Yeah, why not? Okay, so sounds like fun. I will go with Monster Celebrity. Do you want me to mark it somewhere or copy it?
Yeah, copy it over into your tab, please. And I'll copy it into the Omens tab later, because I need to figure out how to do the whole thing in the Omens tab where we won't have to scroll quite that much through all this stuff, the description, but I don't know how yet. I'll figure it out.
Sure. Not sure if you need all our moves in the Omen tab, but it's still useful for me to quickly see.
And
Yeah.
you can just
darkness.
put Seth's name next to it on the division tab too.
Yeah,
If you just drop it right into the right of the move there,
Yeah,
there's a little
That's
space for it.
that's a good idea.
So at this moment, I have some of the answers, but not all of the answers to it.
Oh, that doesn't. You don't need to have all the answers. The first time it comes up, I will ask you all these questions.
Okay.
Then you will have to come up with the answers, but not before that. I don't need to know that right now, because I probably will forget it in the next 2 weeks.
Sure.
Anyway, because I tried taking notes and I tried to make the Omen tab, and I kind of lost the notes thingy in the middle of it. I'm sorry. Okay, so Verity, what are you thinking about? Mary?
Sorry, I spaced out for a second there.
It's fine.
I think I chose the ruin move.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
cool.
the dark patron one.
The dark, that's the dark thing, mentor thingy.
Essentially, there is a harbinger who claims that they're on my side. They will help me. They are working against others. So
Okay. So are they an angelic being, or do they claim to be an angelic being like you once were?
I think so. There's something at least that seems familiar about them to me. So maybe there's been some relationship, or maybe there's just a similar kind of approach to problem solving and to humanity.
Okay. I would ask you not right now, but to give them a name and write that down in the NPCs tab. And if you want to, you can find a picture. If you don't, I will. Same with, actually, I will say the same for other people's significant others, I guess. Says, do you have a parent or a person who summoned you, right? I would like for you to give them a name and to put them in the NPCs tab. If you say they're part of division, that might be interesting later on when we will do the division thingy, which we will do presently after we've had a break, but we will take the break after you all have chosen your division moves. Okay. Okay, you've got your ruin move. Thank you. And Sonar, what about you? Division? You have your division move, right? You have the orphanage thing. Okay,
Yep.
cool. And Victor, I have a feeling that you might have taken a ruin move.
No. Yes, of course.
No,
Yeah. How did you
Yeah.
know?
because you said so 5 times.
Yeah, all right. So I chose the ruin move. Oh, wait. I I chose the ruin move. You are determined. Wait. Blah. I carry the hope of my people.
Mhm,
You are
Okay.
determined to embody the beauty and terror of your people, no matter the cost. I just abbreviate this. When you reach deep into ancestral memory and embody the paragon of
Mm.
people, you can mark a ruin that
Oh,
shows
okay.
your form changing and
Ooh.
temporarily gain a power of darkness from another playbook.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And if I spend more ruin, you
Mhm.
determine how your form changes forever, revealing more of the harbinger you may become. And this time that power of darkness becomes a permanent addition.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's pretty cool. Terrifying, but cool. Okay, and Loki or Lokai, what about you?
I want psychic invokers. I want to bring some like scanners type
Mhm.
stuff into
Yeah.
this.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah. Okay. And you need worshippers. And I mean you don't, but yeah, well, they kind of worship you, I imagine, anyway, whether you want that or not. Okay. Cool. Thank you all for choosing moves. And I think we'll take another break. Well, mm, yeah, I think we'll take a short break of 6 minutes. Is that enough for everyone? Okay, then we'll meet back at 20 to the hour, and then we have a bit of time to talk about division. Thank you. Well, oh wow, I forgot the recording. Hello again. Sorry, we forgot to put that down. We are currently creating bonds between the characters, and we've finished the first round of bonds, so we will just have to wait and see where we play, what that was about. But we do the second one now, and you can be witness to that, to the glory of that. We are going back around to Seth. Please, Seth, give us your second bond, and we'll figure out who that is with.
So my second cool bond is, why can't you tell me you love me?
Okay. So who loves the summit? Or do you have someone in mind who you think might love you?
I'm really open-ended for this one. Don't really.
Come on, he's got all these cool weapons.
I will take that. That's fine. I'll jump into that messy.
Sure, thank you. Why? So why can't you tell me that you love me?
Because you'll think I'm lying. Because you absolutely will not believe me. And the more sincere I am about it, the less you will believe me.
So true, Loki. So true.
Yeah. Poor Loki, no one believes her. Okay, cool. So Verity, give us your second bond, please.
So my second one is, I love you, but you rejected me for my own sake. So this is happening to her twice,
Oh no.
I guess. So I think this could be Victor.
Oh.
I have a feeling that she could feel some sort of kinship to the whole ideas of the distraction of everything you knew and everything you've been around, and really maybe she's fascinated kind of by this loneliness.
Well, I can answer the second half of your question if you'd like me to.
Sure.
Which is, you rejected me for my own sake. So I think Victor has rebuffed Verity because he knows that were he to reciprocate those feelings, he would only encourage uh encourage her to sort of to realize her destructive potential.
Ooh.
I
Mhm.
think. And while that is entertaining and tempting to Victor, he knows that she will regret it, or she will resent him for it.
Great. That's kind of also what I was thinking. Love it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Okay. Very cool. And we have Sonar, the shade. That's the second one.
Yes, I love you, but I can't accept it. Why do you allow me to remain ignorant? Yeah, this was the one that I was at first thinking perhaps it would be Seth. But I do want to spread the bonds around, and so far Verity is the only one I don't have any bond with, one or the other. So if it's okay with you, I think it could also
not-
work. I'm sorry, what was that, Jim?
And it's not like she's the only one with the power to potentially actually kill you.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good point. I do sort of want to die. Even though I don't really want to die, I sort of want to die. And your power, I'm so controlled and controlling, and your power is so impulsive and out of control that I think I'm drawn to that. But it's very hard for me to accept that. If you're comfortable with that, then I'll just remind you what the question is. Okay, the question is, why do you allow me to remain ignorant?
Yeah, so I think maybe it's just easier for her because she's already so lost in her own emotions and her own feelings and of anger and confusion inside and outside, that is just, one thing too much. So it's like, no, don't acknowledge it, prefer it doesn't, it isn't there.
That feels very realistic, authentic. That feels very real.
That sounds good. And possibly it's also, if you're comfortable with this, it's also the idea that he wants to die and is looking at you as somebody, as a tool to help him die, is not the healthiest idea for a relationship.
Yeah.
Definitely would not want that.
I don't know. You're just emotional. Victor, give us your second one, please.
We loved each other once. Why do we keep hurting each other?
Okay, you are teenagers.
Yeah. Let's see.
I think Seth has many.
I'm
bonds
interested
yet.
in this one.
Sorry, sorry. I was so, my ADHD just went inside my head. But what was that?
I'm interested in taking this one.
Sure. Let's do it. I'm sorry. I really wanted to pick Seth for sure. I'm just trying to conceive of throw something at me, Pavel. Like what did you have in mind?
Well, we loved each other once. So this means we had this feeling, and now it's not, as I understand, or
yeah, not.
And why do we keep hurting each other? I think that Seth was really into a relationship with someone who is also long-lived, and you seem to be very, 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 very long-lived. But yeah, maybe it didn't work because of your darkness. That
yeah. I just wanted to ask you, what is the origin of Seth? I need to know that a little bit more, because the way I see what Victor's relationship with a someone would be is that he's someone who would probably see the summoned like as a fellow instrument. You know what I mean? Because the summon is generally perceived as like an instrument of violence or destruction, and so I feel like that's where like the emotional connection would come from. But I'm not sure what your character's origin is, or at least I must have glossed over it during the initial phase of character creation.
I see my origin as being someone from the grasp of a cosmic horror. I feel like we're not like actively summoned and like corporeal on a planet. Set is like just like a cosmic being. I'm sort of leaning and thinking about, because I really like Egyptian mythology, that their parent is the sun, as another cosmic thing. So that's what I think about the origins, and whether they are and when they die or like are unsummoned, they just go back to this state of like wandering the space and await for being summoned. I feel that since we have like a fallen god over here who wants to maybe get back to the other gods, I feel like summoned are like blunt tools used and summoned by others to fight, and then like and they either die or are like unsummoned, and then they wander the cosmos again.
And we keep hurting each other. I'm just trying to imagine what that hurt is. Like, how do we hurt each other? I mean, other than harsh words, of course.
I mean, man, I feel like if you're both conscious of the fact that you're just tools, like whenever one of you complains about that about yourself, you're also putting it on the other person, aren't you?
It's true. It's true.
If you're like, oh, I'm just an instrument, how useless am I? That's like,
Yeah.
you're basically saying the same thing about the other person in the relationship if you've got that same genesis.
Yeah.
Maybe others' worst thoughts.
Well, all I know is I'm looking forward to swapping words with Seth and Pavel for the rest of the campaign. And I think I'll mark that down. And I guess Loki is next, Lokai. And I just wanted to tell you before you even start, Jim, I want to volunteer for that next one. But
given the non-aggression pact that your people almost certainly had with my family, so that they wouldn't interfere when you invaded the world, that makes a ton of sense to me. And that maybe, maybe that like the terms of that non-aggression pact, where you send someone to help us get rid of this guy, we won't get in your way.
I see. All right.
Why don't I hate you for it, Victor? It seems like the kind of thing I would hold a grudge for.
I think, and if you don't mind me finishing that one for you, I think you don't hold a grudge against me because you believe that it's not just doing my duty, you believe that I couldn't help but do what I was asked to do like what I was designed to do.
Yeah, what you were built to do.
A tool.
Yes,
Just
exactly.
a tool,
yeah. You had no more free will than an ant looking for food. I understand that.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right.
I mean, I know Lokai is his own character and his own personality, but I know the Marvel incarnation of the character did give some interesting pegs to work from, which is perceiving most individuals as mere cattle or animals, right? Designed to be ruled or designed to fall victim to their own drives. And I think that's the same even for an interdimensional being who was sent to do his stuff.
Cool. And we have one more bond, and we still need to answer those questions. And I will start out again with you, Seth. Why am I tempted to give into what the darkness demands? I will say that I am also interested in the question, why don't I give in to temptation? Why don't I just give in? Why do I fight that? Because with most of these questions, I can understand why you're tempted by now. But why don't I would like for you and me to explain to me, why don't you give in? Why don't you just despair of your immortality and go drift into the cosmos? Why do you fight? What's driving you?
I think Seth is really Seth really enjoys being here this time, and he really hopes to get more of the feelings, emotions. So he really doesn't want to push people away, because he wants to be with them and enjoy their company, spending time together, fighting things side by side, sharing thoughts and feelings. But that's what the darkness demands of him. But he doesn't want to, because he like yearns for it. Like, who knows how long he was like wandering cosmos. He now wants to, this is like my moment, like get those feelings before I'm again like floating between the stars.
Nice. Love that. Love that. I'm not even a cat person. I just like seeing. If that was a dog, I would be just like, oh, it's a little doggy. Verity, how about you?
Yeah, so I think Verity has been through most of her life before the angel, before the angelic powers awoke within her, kind of raised to do good, because the cat was kind of a bit Puritan, mostly in the vibes. They mostly had kind of morality, again, about doing good, not harming others, and so on. And she has grown up most of her life as a normal person. And yeah, essentially, she used to be a normal person, pretty good one, and she has had moments of her life where really people were kind to her, where she was kind to others, and it felt good. And there's just this feeling of wanting to save that and wanting to cultivate, so that's good.
Cool, thank you. Sonar, how about you?
Yeah, so I'm tempted to give into the darkness because I'm fatigued, I'm alone, I'm in between living and death. And I didn't factor this ambiguity into the way I thought about the world. So with the fatigue, I'm starting to feel like it would be much easier if things were black and white. Either we're all in between living and dead, and this is the new state, or I die. Because I'm an outlier.
So much angst, this one.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's just pretty goth. Thank you. I love that. And Victor.
Yeah, why am I tempted to give into what the darkness demands? I feel like my portrait of Victor makes that very clear.
Yes, but in Victor's case, I would rather ask, why is he? Why does he hold out? Why doesn't he just give in? What's his motivation for fighting? Actually, because I have the feeling that he actually kind of wants to do the thing, but there is a tension here between what the darkness demands and what Victor wants. So where's the tension coming from?
So I feel like preserving life on Earth and preserving the status quo, so to speak, is kind of what Victor sees to be a big cosmic joke against the forces that would unmake reality. You know what I mean? Like these forces are omnipotent, all powerful, you know, all that stuff. Like they could do anything they want, and they most certainly destroyed his people. And so his big middle finger to them is like, well, I will be the me and my colleagues will be the custodians of this world.
Okay.
But he does it out of spite. He doesn't do it out of like
Mhm.
love for the people. And that's why the flip side of that coin is, well, what if we just let them die, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
see where the tension is there because.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That is good. And Lokai, what about you?
So I am tempted to give in to what the darkness demands, because with every fiber of my being, I want to prove that they are wrong.
Mhm.
And I don't, because a tiny little part of me worries that they're right.
I like that. Oh yeah, I like that. That is good. That is very good. Thank you for that. Okay, great. So I think we all got a good idea of who these characters are, how they relate to each other. I'm afraid we didn't get anywhere near to where I thought we would get. I'm sorry, but there are a lot of moving parts in this game. So yeah, I think we'll cut this right now because I don't think in the last 17 minutes or 16 we'll get anywhere close to near where we need to be. Let's start out next time with division. We will just paint a division in broad strokes. Maybe think about what your relationship with division is. I think Seth, you said that your parent was part of division, right? The person who summoned you. And the rest of you probably not quite so clear. But why are you with division? Why do you accept what they tell you to do, basically? And I think with the tool-like persons, it's clearer. But Lokai doesn't seem to be someone who's like, yes, you are a magical bunny, and I will accept your word that we need to do something about the harbingers. But yeah, think about that. We will, as I said, we'll paint that in broad strokes, and we'll get into the mystery and drag you over to that place and then have you throw yourself at the mystery. So that will be in 2 weeks. So for the last part, yeah. Can we post the recording? Everybody who is in favor, give us a thumbs up, please. Yes, okay. Thank you. Yes, please, Chris, post the recording. Oh, it's a recording. Sorry. What I want to do now is I would like to have wishes, because wishes are fun and also give me something to work with. And I will put them on the safety tab somewhere. Yeah, there's a lot of space here, actually. So I will go in reverse character keeper record order because it's the last one. So I will go with Lokai for now. First, do you have any wishes for next session or generally this?
Man, I really want to see some of this soap opera stuff going on. Some of the and especially because we've got some very juicy triangles where somebody loves somebody else, but they love a different person, and that word love. Like we've got different iterations of that going on, and boy, definitely making sure that just because we're diving right into a mystery right off the bat, that we don't set that stuff aside for like the procedural part of it. The procedural part of it's fun, but to make sure that we've got that front of mind as we're doing that stuff, and and it's messy and soap operatic as we're doing our investigation. That's the thing I'm really hoping for.
Okay.
And the other thing is that we don't shortchange those division moves when they come up, that we actually give them some time and attention to make them rich.
Yeah, okay. I hope we can do that. Yes. I will write that down. I will forget it otherwise. Why are these things so big? Now they're totally small. What? Why is sorry, fighting.
My other wish for a completely different character keeper is not going to happen between now and then. So that's
no, I don't think so. Yeah, thank you for putting that in there. Okay. Okay, now I'm sorry, I will steal this from here and put it there because otherwise I will get confused. And that is not helpful. Okay, sorry. Yes, and who's the next? I think the next one is Victor.
Oh, sorry. What was the question?
Wishes for next time.
Oh,
Something you would
wishes.
like
So
to
yeah,
see.
yeah. No. I am looking forward to a lot of melodrama, or at least a lot of. I mean, I hope no one's put off by this, but I hope loving words and unkind words are shared between all our characters, because that's Apocalypse Keys, baby. Um, and yeah, I think that's I think I echo what others have said so far about their characters and their wishes, but definitely emphasis on on the heightened drama.
Okay, very cool. Sonor.
Yep, I also echo. Oh, I can't say that word. I have set my Amazon Alexa to that keyword, waiting for it to stop listening to me. Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry guys.
No,
I just saw the blue light. So yeah, back to the point. I am interested in also pushing it. So I want to be clear. I actually think the priority, like Jim said, is on that stuff up front because it'll give us a lot of setting and context. Since we have about 4 sessions, I am curious also how far we can push things. Not that I want the world to end, just like,
yeah.
if there's even any coaching throughout the course of the game, I'm sure that you will, but feel free to say, you can also do this, and take it as far as we can go. So because I think I haven't played and read everything, I might not know all the marks to hit. And if you could help coach, that would be great. Thank you.
I'll try, and I think with Matthew and Jim here, who've played this a ton and have good instincts about it, I think we will do fine about that. Verity, wishes.
I think it would be cool to have a lot of scenes together between the characters, right? Maybe focus on that more than on NPCs, at least for me. NPCs are cool, but I think many interactions between PCs are cooler.
Okay. Yeah. And Pavel.
I'm not sure. I'm just looking forward to see how the system works and where majority of the gameplay is. I know there is some mystery, some keys to find, some harbinger to beat up, and then our personal drama. I wonder how this will all work, and our darkness. So basically, test this, play the game, and see about some particular direction. I don't know. I'm waiting to see where it will go.
Okay. So you want to see a few of the different parts of the game, right? How they work, how they lean into each other.
Yeah, but since I drew something from Egyptian mythology, I like when the myths and our ancient history shows up in some games and they're somehow referenced because it's interesting. So fighting some cool monsters, some dead gods. I don't know. It's somehow interesting to me because then I can wonder, well, what if this was really real? So,
Okay, cool. So thank you all for coming. I think we don't need to give stars right now because you're all stars. You've made amazing characters, you had amazing stories, you had amazing bonds, and we've got a very good setup. And yeah, I'll just let you go now unless you want to say something when you can, because I'm not. Well, I mean, I could just stop and say, so go. Yeah, Apocalypse Kisses. That is a game that Ray needs to write. I feel they are very well situated to do that. Like a mix of Apocalypse Keys and Pasión de las Pasiones. So yeah, okay. If nobody has anything to add, I will let you go. we will see
Yeah.
each other in 2 weeks. If you want to populate the NPCs tab, I hear what you're saying, Verity, about having scenes with other characters, because we have a lot of tension and drama within these characters, and within the structure. We don't need a ton of NPCs, and also we have a lot of player characters anyway. We want to
There's a
give
lot.
you all as much spotlight
That's a-
as we can, and not have me be 3 NPCs who are talking to each other, even though that can be very dramatic, but probably not what you came here for.
That's a lot of romance your characters have. Would be a shame if something were to happen to it.
So like, since we've got the 2 weeks, I took one of those division moves that has me like author some NPCs. Can I just drop those in there so that
Yeah.
we've got it? And so
Yeah.
then when it comes time to say, well, there's that guy, and that guy who
Yep.
are all already in the tab and stuff like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
Cool.
if you,
I'm
if you
gonna go
want-
ahead and do that then.
Yeah, if you want to do that, populate the NPCs tab. I put in some NPCs that are actually in the mystery that I have already mostly written.
Excellent. Excellent.
So we will have those. They are, as I said, they are.
At least one of mine is going to be a literal like brain floating in a jar. So that's a little preview of what's going on. Yeah,
Fine.
with the psychic division of, or whatever, the psychic core for divisions. Yeah.
Ooh, I like Terran. And there's death. Wow, okay, very cool. We already
The one,
have.
the one question I do have, and I know I could look it up, is how do you take ruin if you don't have a ruin move?
There are moves that will give you ruin if you fail something. I can just
I
say,
figured.
and now you get ruined because you've
yeah.
behaved badly and annoyed me. Probably I won't do that.
Oh,
but
got it. I see. It's consequences. Okay, got it. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Thanks.
Yeah, it's the consequences of your own actions, basically. If you're a good person all the time and resist the darkness and don't get too many darkness tokens, by the way. Yeah, because that can get you to if you go to 5 darkness tokens, then you're torn between your more human half and the darkness within you, and that you can rack up ruin pretty well. Also, there is at least one of the end of session moves that will give you one that will give you a ruin, right? It will just give it to you. From what I remember in the earlier versions, it was a choice if you wanted to take it or not, but right now you have to, because I mean this game is about you blowing up the world in the end, basically. Yeah. Anyway, so this is a fictional world. You can blow it up all you want.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, have a nice 2 weeks. And I will see you then. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.